recently I've been a lot better about following through on the things to which I commit and not saying I'm going to do something unless I'm going to do it, and just doing the things that I said I was going to do. And I've been able to get a lot of things done that I was kind of putting off before. And in that process, I kind of realized that doing difficult things isn't as difficult as one might think. And what I mean by that is that, like, I think there are like two categories into which we generally put things. We have easy things, and then we have difficult things. And after we create those categories and put things into them, we say these easy things are the things that I can do. These difficult things are the things I can't do. And we'll have, like, in the easy category, we'll have, like, sit down and watch a movie or play a video game, or you know um you know watch TV, something like that. And in the difficult category, we'll have, like, become CEO of a Fortune 500 company, or like cure cancer, or like, um direct a you know movie that wins an Oscar or whatever. And I think that what we like for me, one of the things I was missing was that I think there's a third category, and that third category is actually a subcategory of the difficult category. So we have easy things that are super easy to do. We know we can do them, but if that's all we could do for the rest of our lives, we'd be screwed, right? And then we have these difficult things that are really interesting and maybe worthwhile goals, but that are so far out of reach that realistically they're probably not going to happen anytime soon. In that difficult category, though, there's a second subcategory, which is things that are difficult but that are 100% achievable. And I think that this is kind of where the money is, in this category of in this really things in these things that are difficult but that you can actually achieve. And it's going to be different for everyone, but everyone does have something in this category. For me, like, getting health insurance was something that I had been putting off for a long time. And I tried a few times, but I tried to get on Medicaid, but I was kind of lackadaisical about it. I didn't get approved the first few times, and I just kind of was like, okay, well, whatever. I knew there were other options, but I didn't explore those. And so it had kind of been sitting there in this difficult category, but it was also completely achievable. So what I did was that I, looked into getting health insurance in the marketplace, and I got pretty affordable health insurance because of it. Doing things in that mid-range are doing things at mid-range, I think, is like it's like probably the best way. It's probably like the best way to make progress. And I think that everyone should be spending a good amount of time in this mid-range, just trying to identify what are the things that that are difficult, that are more than this, than being in this easy category, but that I can actually achieve. And once you do that, then you're kind of presented with a choice, right? Because things up here they're really, like I said, they're things that are really, they might be worthy goals, but they're so inaccessible, at least at this point in time, that it's easy to brush them off. Hey, I want to do this huge thing that I know that right now I'm probably not going to be capable of doing. So, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Whatever. I won't really think about it. This is a nice stop, but I'm not really going to put any effort toward it because it's so, at this point, it's just so inaccessible. When you're in this category, though, of things that you know you can do, but that even if they're difficult, you have to decide whether or not you're going to do it. And if you choose not to do it, then to a large degree, that's on you. And I think that's hard for me to, like, it's hard for me. That's a hard thing with, ooh, that's a hard thing for me to have to face. And that might be why, I spent so much time not thinking about, um, not thinking about this. But like subconsciously, subconsciously I was aware of this category. And how do I know that? Because um, comparison is a bad thing. It's the thief of joy. But in this case, it does provide some useful insight. When when I'm negatively comparing myself, when I'm comparing myself to someone who, or to, when I'm comparing myself against someone, and um, I'm envious of this person because let's say they do some, I don't know, like they're like, oh, I went on this great vacation, it was great. I like, I was swimming with dolphins, and like, we were climbing mountains, and like, there was I don't know, it's beautiful scenery. And I know, like, but like I don't know, maybe I spent my week, maybe I tripped and fell down the steps and I spent my week in the hospital. I'm like, I'm envious of this person. But there's in that case there's a feeling of like envy. And um it's pretty clear to me, like, uh that that's something that should be just kind of discarded. I'm being, like, again, comparison is a thief of joy. Leave it alone. But when someone tells me about something that they've done, and it's like, it's something that I know I could have done, but in that I wanted to do, or it's adjacent to something that I wanted to do, and I didn't do it. There's envy, but and again, that should be discarded. Um, but there's also this feeling. It's a bit more complex of a feeling, because there's also a feeling of, there's this self reflection. It's like, damn, like, why didn't I do it? Because I know I could have done it. And that's a different feeling than just, this kind of petty envy. That's something that's a little more deep. It's a little more, like I said, introspective. And it's a lot more kind of legitimate, because again, there's the knowledge that, hey, I could have, um, there's something that I could have done that I didn't do. Why did I do this to myself? Why did I um, deprive myself of this opportunity? So the fact that I felt that before kind of indicates to me that there was a subconscious knowledge of this feeling, and that of this category, and that it's a real category. Um, and that not doing the things in that category, um, actually probably is something that is not good. So this YouTube video, it's something I said for a long time that I wanted to make, wanted to be active on my YouTube channel. I don't know if I'll be active on my YouTube channel, but this video is something that is in that category of things that's achievable. It's totally doable, but that's just been difficult. I just don't want to do it because I don't want to say something stupid. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be, oh yeah, I don't want to say something stupid. I don't want to be wrong. But those are not things that are those are not things that are so difficult to, those are not problems that are so difficult to overcome that I have to that the goal is, realistically not achievable. I can make a video, and so I want to spend more time. I want to spend more time in this area, and I want to kind of up the ante, right? Like I said, I've done a lot of good things for myself by just kind of, pushing myself a bit harder and forcing myself to confront those things that I've just been kind of choosing not to do. And now that I've done those things, I look back at that category and there's a whole nother list of things, because now that I have health insurance, for example, right, it opens me up to like seeing a therapist, and that opens me up to like, dealing with, problems with anxiety and stuff, which I would worry about things a bit too much. And that, that opens up a door, potentially being able to deal with that, will open up doors in the future and kind of raise that. It'll add to those things that are easy in that easy category, so that now that, let's say, I'm less anxious in the future because I've seen a psychologist and, that's helped. Well, now it's easier to deal with some of the things that come with being, anxious or worrying too much. So something that was in that category, something that was in that, unachievable category, because I was so anxious that I realistically wouldn't be able to do it, is now in that difficult, because the worry might still be there, but achievable category, and then I can attack that. So, it's kind of a never-ending cycle. You attack one thing, and overcoming that gives you the tools you need to attack the next thing. But all of the important stuff, I feel like it's going to be right here. Anything up here is gonna need to be brought down here before it's worth attacking. And you can attack something up here by attacking the things down here, but down here is where the focus is, where you're going to want the focus to be. You don't want to be all the way down here. You don't want it to be all the way up here. At least in my experience, you're kind of going to want to continue attacking this, and then the things up here start to become the things that trickle down here. So that's kind of what that's my hypothesis. That's what's been true in my experience these past these past few months. So we'll see if it sticks. We'll see if I come back and have a different opinion of it at a later date. But for now, that's what I believe to be true, and that's what I'm going to try to take into account when I'm trying to get things done.